I'm showing you how to easily make my delicious and healthier twist on classic strawberry shortcake. I've made it higher in protein with cottage cheese and lower in sugar with maple syrup and all natural ingredients. The light and spongy almond vanilla shortcake is baked in a sheet pan and can be cut into mini cakes or served as a layer cake. Then it's topped with cottage cheese whipped cream, fresh strawberry sauce, and of course, strawberries. In this recipe, we'll be using 1.5 cups of cottage cheese, and you can use large curd, small curd, non-fat, low-fat, whatever your preference. I like to remove the curdled texture by blending it down first so that it is smooth and creamy. You can do this in any upright blender. I'll be using my chopper cup that comes with my immersion blender. I've added 1.5 cups of cottage cheese, and then I'm gonna put on my lid and simply blend it until smooth. Well, that is smooth and creamy, so we'll go ahead and set this aside. To bake the cake, you could use a standard 9x13 pan. I really like using a jelly roll pan because it's a little bit bigger, and then the cake bakes a little bit thinner. I also like to line it with parchment paper, which makes it easy to get the cake in and out of the pan. I'll go ahead and spray it with a little bit of coconut oil. To make this delicious vanilla almond shortcake, we're going to start by adding our wet ingredients, which includes 4 eggs, 1/2 cup of organic cane sugar, 1/4 cup of light olive oil, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. And then I'll simply whisk these together until they're well combined. And now the cottage cheese is undetectable in the cake, but it's going to make it extra moist and flavorful. Next, we're going to add our dry ingredients, which includes 2 cups of almond flour, 1/4 cup of tapioca flour, and then I have 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon salt. And then I'll just mix these together until well combined. And then we have this very beautiful and wonderfully smelling batter. And then now we can simply pour our batter into our prepared pan. And I'll go ahead and spread it out with my spatula. And I'll jiggle it back and forth a couple times. Give it a few good taps. And then this is ready to go into a 350-degree oven for 28 to 32 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. While our cake is baking in the oven, we're going to go ahead and make a really delicious whipped cottage cheese cream. And it's going to taste fantastic with our strawberries and our shortcake. We'll begin with 1 cup of our blended cottage cheese. And then for a little more flavor and tang, we're adding 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, a pinch of salt, and 1/2 cup of organic powdered sugar. And then we'll mix these together until they're well combined. And then to make it extra dreamy and creamy, I'm adding 1 cup of whipped cream. You can use store-bought whipped cream, or you can mix your own with heavy whipping cream. And then we'll gently mix these together. Well, that looks delicious, but I think we need a quick quality control pinky test. Oh, that is so good. It's just light and creamy with a little bit of sweetness as well as a little bit of tang and some of that natural kind of cheese flavor. I absolutely love this, and I'm gonna let it hang out in the fridge until our cake is ready to assemble. Now we're going to make a very easy and naturally sweetened strawberry sauce. We're gonna begin with 2 cups of either fresh or frozen strawberries. I'm just gonna pour them down into a saucepan over medium heat. Then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 2 dashes of salt, and then we'll give this a quick stir to make sure all the strawberries are well coated. And now we're gonna bring the strawberries to a simmer, and I'm gonna put a lid onto my pot just to help speed that up. So now that our strawberries have come to a nice little simmer, I'm gonna go ahead and stir it. And then I'll put the lid back on and then stir it about every minute, just until those strawberries are completely cooked through. Well, my strawberries have been simmering for about 5 minutes, and you can see that they're nice and soft and easy to squish. Okay, I'm just gonna come in with a little whisk and start to break them down. Now, if you'd like your sauce to be a little bit on the thinner side, you can go ahead and take it off of the heat at this point, or you can let it simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes if you'd like it to become a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna go ahead and let it simmer uncovered for another 3 minutes. It's been about 3 minutes, and this sauce looks amazing. And now you can decide if you want to leave it nice and chunky, or if you'd like to have it blended smooth. So I'm gonna turn off the heat, and then I'm gonna blend this down using the chopper cup of my immersion blender. So I'm just gonna pour this right into the chopper cup, and then put on my lid and just blend it for a few seconds until it's nice and smooth. Ooh, that looks perfect. Now I'll transfer it to a bowl. I'm gonna put this in my fridge so that it can cool completely before assembling our shortcake. Well, here's our beautiful shortcake, which I allowed it to cool on my counter in the pan for a few minutes. Then I flipped it over to put it onto this cooling rack, and then put the rack inside my freezer for about 10 minutes so it could cool completely. and it still has the parchment paper on the bottom, which makes it really easy to slide onto my cutting board. Now you can decide how you want to assemble your strawberry shortcake. You could just spread all your toppings on one layer right on top of the cake and then slice it and serve it. I like to cut mine out into some small mini cakes because it reminds me of those little circular angel food cakes that I used to love eating as a little girl. So I found that just this 2-inch cookie cutter works really well. So I'm just going to put it up into the corner of my cake, stamp it down. Then I have this very adorable little mini cake. So I'll just continue to stamp these out, making the best use of the space. Next, I'm going to slice a few fresh strawberries by simply removing the top and then using my nifty little egg slicer. Give it a good press. I instantly have these very adorable and uniform little strawberry slices. It's also very #satisfying. So now that we have our baked shortcakes and our strawberry sauce, our fresh strawberries, and our cottage cheese whipped cream, we are ready to assemble our shortcake. I'm going to start by placing one of my shortcakes in the middle of my plate, and then add a drizzle of the strawberry sauce, and I want it to ooze over the sides, and I want it to really soak into that cake. And then I'll add a delicious plop of our cottage cheese whipped cream, and a few little fresh strawberry pieces that can poke out over the edge. Then I'll add our second shortcake and another spoonful of sauce and another plop, or I guess dollop, that's the fancier word, of our cream on top. And then a few aesthetic strawberries to finish it off. Well, that looks gorgeous, and I think we just made art with our strawberry shortcake. But the most important question is, how does it taste? We're about to find out. That is so delicious. That is seriously so good. Oh man. Sorry, I need a second bite. That is seriously a dreamy, creamy bite of strawberry shortcake. As soon as I bite in, I get that vanilla almond spongy cake that has so much flavor and just the right amount of sweetness. And then I get the tang coming in from the strawberry sauce. And then that smooth cottage cheese whipped cream is just so creamy and adds just a perfect amount of sweetness around the whole bite. And then topping it off with that fresh strawberry bite just seals the deal. That is the most delicious strawberry shortcake I have ever tasted. And I love that it's made with clean, natural ingredients, which means I'm gonna feel just as good after I eat it. And I love sharing my creatively healthy recipes so that you can enjoy them too. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today in my kitchen, and I've included a link to the full recipe, and it's in the video description below. And it leads you to my website, gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you know someone else who you think would love this recipe, please share this video with them. And I cannot wait to have you hang out with me again in my kitchen.